Hi again and welcome to the channel, and today I'm joined by Domenico.
Hi Craig.
Hopefully you saw my other videos out there about my predictions about 2020 and what I feel's kind of coming up using my psychic abilities.
Yeah, I actually saw that video. It's really interesting, and I saw that you spoke about politics, how the world is going to be in 2020. But have you thought about doing a video about the astrology in 2020? What every sign could expect by this new year?
Yeah, well, I think we can do something like that. This is called sun sign astrology. It started in the 1930s when people used it in the newspapers.
Almost 100 years old.
Yeah. So let's ask me a few questions.
Right, 2020 is not only a new year, but it's even a new decade.
Indeed.
God, it's going to be pretty fun to live.
Yeah.
Great time to be around. That's something that happens only once every 100 years. And we are not only in the new decade, we are in the new decade of the new century.
Yeah, indeed we are.
So it could be a pretty interesting point for astrology.
I think so.
Right, I think now it's time to move to the next sign, that is
Taurus. Indeed it is. And Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is 2020 is going to be a year of quite a lot of hard work, building on things. Taurus should hopefully find quite a lot of stability, but it's going to come through effort this year.
So we moved from a pretty lucky sign to a...
Well, no, it's not a bad year. It's a good year for Taurus. They do have a few things I'd need to talk a little bit about on the emotional side of their life later, but generally, this could be a year of laying the foundations for better things to come.
Okay, so it's going to be a good starting point.
A good starting point. What we really need to do is have a look at the planetary positions for them. I'm going to look at their chart now and tell you a little bit about that, you see. So we've got, for example, we have Jupiter in conjunction with Pluto. Now that's pretty good because this could bring sort of gains, so that it's not going to be all hot work. That suggests reward is suggested here as well from that. This can often link to things like inheritance.
Oh.
Now it doesn't mean everybody that's Taurian is going to have an inheritance, but some could have an inheritance or possibly gains from a fund or something like that, something that's been there for some time in the background of their life. So we've also got Jupiter and Saturn are very close together with this sign as well, and that should bring some prosperity, a lot of decisions to be made in the year generally for Taurus. Now, governed by the planet Venus, as is the old ancient goddess of love, as we know, they should have some good things, but we've also got it called retrograde. So Venus, when it's retrograde, it appears when you look at it in the sky that it's going backwards across the sky. Right?
Didn't know about it.
So it just looks that way. It's just the way when the planets go around. At one point, it seems to go back the opposite way. The ancients, when they saw a planet going retrograde, would say it's going backwards. That's not a good sign. So we have, I don't know how quite long we've got that running in the chart at the moment. I haven't made a note of that here, but retrograde Venus will cause some upsets in love life for Taurus. And we've also got Uranus at retrograde as well. And that's Uranus, right?
I'll never be old enough. I'm an adult. I don't make these jokes.
And we don't want to get asteroids in conjunctions with them. But so they have got Uranus is kind of connected with the imagination. I always think of Uranus as connected with as a planet, right? You're not going to get this off your mind.
No.
And that's going to be retrograde for some of the year too. So this affects our vision of the future. So I think for Taurus, it's going to be a year of a lot of self-questioning about where they're going in life. Any decisions they make now are going to have an influence long-term for the future. So this is why it's like kind of building now for the future. So what they do now is going to be very important. What they do in 2020 is going to be very important for the years to come. Doesn't mean it's going to be a bad year. It's just the way they're going to be focusing their energies.
So let's say that Taurus needs to concentrate on what they want to do and do it in a way of thinking more like, I'm not doing it to have a gain today, but I'm building something for tomorrow. Right. So we spoke about a general view of how 2020 is going to look like for Taurus, and doesn't seem to be an easy.
No,
it's going to be a lucky one, but
it's going to be fine. It's just the way you go about things. So for like with money, for example, it's not going to be dramatic increases in money, but it will be the sort of thing where you can start to find ways to make an improvement. So it's like what you're laying is the seeds to the future. So it's an optimistic time. And this is also a good time for removing things like long-term debt, so pay off the credit cards, right? So, but that's good, because once they're paid off, you're then back in a much more better position. So, it's quite a good time for this, because Taurus does like to have hope, that loves the home and loves security and things like this. So, you might have a lot of Taurians might have just moved into a new home, for example. So that would be a time when they haven't got everything, but they can see the way ahead. They can feel that something good has started to happen in their life. So, you go without so that you can have something a little bit more in the future.
And now, the most important thing that we said for Aries, this one is the point that everybody's looking for. What's going to be the love life for Taurus?
It's quite a good time. Because it's a good time, I'm particularly interested in those that are single at the moment, because it's quite a good time for new relationships.
Yeah, but remember, you're married.
Yeah, I'm married. So, but I think for a Taurian at the moment, because it's the time of setting the time for the future for them, it's a very good time for them if they just formed a relationship, because that relationship could, if they could turn into something good. It's the type of relationships that would not be love at first sight, but might sort of grow into something, and they suddenly find that they found their partner and they didn't even realize that they'd met their soulmate. That's the type of way it would work for Taurus this year. The way I interpret some of this too is that I get the sense that strong love and relationships for Taurians in the workplace. It's just the way not all astrologers would interpret it in the same way as I would, but the way I look at it here for them, there's going to be sort of quite a good opportunities in career too for Taurus this year. So it may be career change for some, and if there's a career change, I get the feeling that a lot of Taurians could meet their partners at work.
So Taurus, even if it looks like it's a hard time for you, don't be afraid. By the look of it, it seems that it's going to be quite a good year even for them.
Yeah, it's a year of getting things in order. I mean, every star sign has positive and negative things. We tend with astrology to kind of focus on the optimistic things because, we don't want to say it's going to be a dreadful year. We look for the best of all the planetary positions and then move towards that. So it's getting an orderly life. That's the way that I feel Taurus is going to make the best of 2020. So Taurus, don't worry about anything that I've said here because it can be a good year for you. It's a lot of hard work, but, Taurus is a sign that's used to doing a lot of hard work and you thrive. You get bored if you're not working hard. So it's a good year for Taurus if you take it with the right approach.
So this 2020 seems to be, it's going to be actually a good year for most of the signs.
Yeah, I think an interesting year generally with some interesting numerology in it as well, because it's the 20th of the 2nd, 2020 and things like that coming up. Which we can talk about another time. But yeah, I think an interesting time, and also as through the prediction videos, an interesting time politically, for example.
And people can see your 2020 prediction on the other video you've made.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and there's lots going on there.
There's the link somewhere.
Somewhere up here or over there.
And these predictions were more general, these astrological predictions, this science prediction.
Yeah, I mean, this type of astrology we're doing now is sun sign astrology, they call it. So, but if you want to get something a little bit more in-depth and personalised for you, you can have a look on my website. You'll see it coming up on the screen here somewhere. you can call my readers. They can give you a psychic reading, a clairvoyant reading, or a specifically astrological reading based entirely upon your date of birth and what you do. Just go to the website and call the numbers, and you can get reading right now if you want.
Don't forget to subscribe on this channel.
Yep.
Click the bell so you will be notified for any new video that is coming up. And actually, you were telling me before that you're gonna do a better astrological video per each sign.
More in depth.
Yeah,
a bit more in depth for each sign. And we might even later on start looking at some pet videos as well, I was thinking.
The pet astrology.
But some of that might be fun to do. We can get Boo in.
Yeah.
And what about your channel? Because you're doing this new thing when you've been filming all this with these cameras and things. And
yeah, if you are interested in making these videos, or if you are interested in photography, videography, filmmaking, you want to start your own YouTube channel. Well, I got my channel. The link is in the description. I'm the Italian Dad. It's pretty simple to find.
And it's fun and interesting. And you can see some of the bloopers we make sometimes and the things that go right and go wrong and how we do it.
And I show especially how you can make all these on a budget, on a really tight budget. Because not many people can go out and buy a £25,000 or $25,000 camera. But in my videos and in my channel, you will see how you can make these videos with less than £500 or less than $500. I already have a video on which camera to buy if you just want to start and spend less than $500 or £500 between the camera, the lens and the microphone. That will get you started. So just go down in the description for the link and subscribe to it.
And talking about budgets, you can help us if you become a patron of this site, because we're trying to do something really special with this channel, as we've already said. You know, we're trying to get our own studio and places where we can work and transmit all sorts of interesting stuff to you that have never been done on YouTube before. Something unique, a community of spiritually minded people working together.
And we're trying to help even children in needs.
Indeed.
With the Patreon.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then we do a lot of charitable work as well. And we'll keep you updated with that through the channel as well, through 2020. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. And do keep subscribing. And thank you for supporting us over 2019. And all of you, no matter what sign, do have a good 2020. Life is what you make it. It doesn't matter about the planets and stars. It's us that make the changes in the world and can make our life happy.
Happy New Year, people.
Happy New Year.
Ciao.
Bye.
My wife Jane and I do our public work for free. We raise money through the theatres to raise money for our Hamilton Parker Foundation. This is a not-for-profit company that is soon to be registered as a charity. Now, our work is going in to help with the objectives of this charity, but you can help us as well by becoming what we call a patron of this channel. Now, as a patron, you'll get, first of all sorts of really interesting benefits. You'll have a sort of behind the scenes look at what goes on with our work. You'll get videos before other people. You'll get new videos. You'll get all sorts of benefits that are explained in the Patron website, and it has various tiers that you can subscribe to. So you can subscribe to just a little bit and get a few benefits, or you can subscribe a lot and get a lot of benefits. And what this means is that we can raise some money through this channel. Now, this money's not going to me and Jane to give us a fancy lifestyle. This money is going into our foundation that has some fantastic objectives. Now, the first thing we want to do with the foundation is, first of all, get a cyber center together, a cyber temple, as it were, a place where we can introduce new people to you through this channel. So by supporting this channel and giving something to the as a patron, you will find that this channel will start to get better and better content with more and more interesting things going on. We'll be able to get the cameras, we'll be able to have the space, we'll be able to have the right setting where we can build the energy to do things such as mediumistic circles and so forth online. But also our work extends further than that, because we are hoping ultimately to build a spiritual center, a psychic ashram, as it were, where people like you can come to visit and take part in an interactive way through this channel as well. But also we are doing a lot of what we call spiritual service. We are going out and giving a large part of the income we generate to people in India who are destitute. We've given to schools, we've fed children that are in need, we've helped mentally handicapped people, we've given cows to old people in India. Some of all this you'd have seen in my movie Mystic Journey to India on Amazon. But all of this is part of our mission, part of our remit to help the world. Because we're not only trying to find our divine nature, we're also trying to live what we learn and express it in ways that are really beneficial to the world. So if you follow this channel, but more importantly, if you become a patron of this channel, you can help us to take this whole mission onto a much higher level than any psychic work has ever been done before.